Look, we know saying that a place surprised us is kind of cliche at this point, but Valladolid really did. So much so that we're willing to say it. We might like Valladolid a little bit more than Mérida, and we love Mérida. Initially, we came to Valladolid for one reason. Okay, two reasons. One, it's close to Chichén Itzá, which we still haven't been to yet, despite being this close to it for as long as we have. And two, everyone kept saying the food, the culture, and the cenotes were worth the trip. And they were right. Montage. We expected just a sleepy stopover town, but Valladolid surprised us in all of the best ways. And if you're the kind of traveler who'd rather ditch the resorts and see what's really out here, yeah, you're gonna want to stick around.
So Valladolid, a small, colorful town smack in the middle of the Yucatán Peninsula. It's about 2 hours from Cancun and an hour and a half from Mérida. If you're driving, bring cash. There's a toll that's about 235 pesos or $12, and they don't take card. We rented a car through a local agency called Sutrip. Found them through Reddit actually. It's a female-owned small business and the experience was great. They include all the required insurance, the prices were fair, and everything went super smoothly. They even dropped the car off for you. And I promise this isn't an ad. We just absolutely recommend them if you're looking for a hassle-free rental in Mérida. Anyway, we rolled into Valladolid just before sunset, and Sarah was supposed to give us a room tour, but she got a little distracted.
Whoa, it's huge. The actual house. Echoey. Oh, that's my kind of decor. Fake flowers in a vodka bottle. This is supposed to be like the way to learn Spanish. This is on my to-buy list when we get back home. It's supposed to be very helpful.
So, about that room tour.
Bienvenidos a mi casa en Valladolid. Es muy grande. Actually, fun fact, this is a homestay. Booked on booking.com, as I do 80% of our accommodations. When you walk in, you have una sala muy grande y después una cocina y una mesa y tres sillas. This is going pretty well. I don't know how to say any of that, so we're gonna skip that. Y un cuarto, no sé. Tenemos una cama y tenemos dos toallas. Are you impressed?
Muy
I'm kind of
bien,
impressed,
sí.
impressing myself. I don't know how to say anything in there. We're all just el fin. Before taxes, this came out to be about $30 a night, 25 or $30 a night. So we're like getting closer back to our Southeast Asia budget. But I need to stop doing that.
Spanglish.
We just got here about an hour ago. Sarah picked a great place that's centrally located, so it's gonna be pretty easy to find things and go around the different areas in the city.
We've not seen much of this town yet, but it looks very colorful, a little quieter, a little slower paced, which is great. We don't really have a set plan. We're really here for like a day and a half, but we think most things kick off at the kind of central plaza, so that's where we're gonna head and hopefully we can find some food. And tomorrow we'll be meeting up with some amigas. The streets were so quiet compared to what we're used to. Calle de los Frailes especially. It actually closes to cars in the evening, so you can just wander around in peace. We weren't expecting much to be happening tonight, but turns out balancing glass bottles on your head while dancing is a totally normal Friday night in Valladolid. A very welcome surprise. We could stay and watch the performance until sunset, but we're over here for tacos. And that is a surprise to no one, so a short while later, we looked for the closest taqueria we could find.
Language barrier strikes again. There's a chance I only ordered 2 tacos. I meant to order 4 for the both of us.
I was doing well with my Spanish, and then I didn't.
I was going to say you did the whole thing in
I
Spanish,
did
so
the
that
whole
was
thing in
impressive.
Spanish, yeah.
Progress, slow
Pero
progress.
no bueno.
I can say we're getting close to being taco experts at this point, so let me give you my review. It's giving modest flavor, a humble salsa, perhaps too humble. Let's elevate it, with a touch more acidity.
Ow.
Well, these 2 tacos were 60 pesos. Pretty solid deal.
I got 3 tacos asada, which is what I meant to order over there. And then I went here because I was embarrassed. I did it wrong.
These tacos were also just meh. So to make peace with our guts, we headed to the churro stand.
Birds allowed. Whoa.
Now I know what these churros were made for. Sharing churros. Easy access. Oh my god. Why am I wearing white?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Good night to Sarah.
Good night. That's all I need.
We wandered around the plaza and the cathedral a little longer doing the usual aimlessly touristy things, but I want you to pay attention to this spot right here. See that line? Remember that taco stand. We'll come back to it. There's something just a little magical about Calle de los Frailes at night. The string lights flicker on, the air cools off just enough, and the pastel buildings start to glow like a movie set. Also, Sarah's sense of direction, it's, well, let's call it lacking. But she's determined and optimistic she can get us home, so I let her lead the way. Mind you, we're only like 3 blocks away.
Left. I took a picture of this. Home. Because these videos don't edit themselves. Says the girl who doesn't edit the videos.
Good morning. It's about 6 o'clock. There's really no one out. It's pretty quiet. You can hear a few cars, some birds, and maybe a couple roosters, but that's about it. Really like exploring cities in the morning because it's just so peaceful.
So we were going to go to Cenotes Soitan this morning. I think that's how you pronounce it. But I think we're going to be going to a couple of cenotes today, and this one looked very expensive. And we are still budget travelers, so we're going to scratch that one from the list. Instead, we're going to take a few hours this morning to explore more of the town and get some breakfast.
This spot is called Tia Lina. Step inside and you instantly get that cozy Yucatan charm, and they focus on regional and local dishes here. Sarah went with the chilaquiles with green salsa and eggs, classic choice, and I got the longanizado,
Gracias.
which is kind of a twist on the traditional encamisado. Think a Yucatan-style pita, handmade tortilla stuffed with eggs, beans, and tomato sauce. Then smothered in more tomato sauce, plus cube ham, cheese, and a little sausage for good measure. Both of these breakfasts were absolutely loaded and so good. Total damage was 320 pesos for the 2 of us. It's like 18 bucks for a breakfast feast. No notes.
We walked off breakfast by heading down Calle de los Frailes, which is even prettier in the daytime, until we reached El Convento de San Bernardino de Siena. It was closed when we got there, but that didn't stop us from poking around and exploring what we could.
While we're not as budget as we were last year, for instance, we are still quite budget. But I say this because the restaurant we just had breakfast in, there was a flyer for a string quartet in a cenote that would be playing Queen and the Beatles tonight. It was like 40-ish bucks a person, which is not outrageously expensive, but I'm excited for the day after, you know, more of you continue to watch our videos, that we don't like pause at a $40 charge per person, so an $80 charge. I look forward to that day.
You're rich, baby.
We're gonna look back on this video and be like, damn, they couldn't forego over 40 bucks a person. And right now, no, we have other priorities. Also, the last time we paused over an entrance price was when we were in Oxford, and we almost didn't go into a place in Oxford University because we thought it was too expensive. We flipped a coin.
So I think we're just gonna flip a coin and let the fates decide.
The coin said to not pay. We ended up going anyway, and then we had a flat tire and had to pay hundreds of dollars more. So I'm not gonna mess with the fates anymore, I don't think.
Before we head to the cenotes, we want you to meet our friends Jill and Hannah. We love these two. They are hilarious. They'll be joining us for a few hours today. And they have a YouTube channel too, which you should definitely check out. We're heading about 15 minutes outside of Valladolid for today's main event, our cenote adventure. Our cenote cost 226 pesos, but gave us access to 2 cenotes.
Cenote, the name Cenote Samula. Samula ish keken. Cenote, yes.
Okay.
It also came with a guide. We didn't ask for one, but he was persistent, and his puppy sealed the deal.
Huh? Could keep up.
And he really liked Hannah's sandals.
My straps are so long on the goggles. It's too tempting. Hey, buddy, you can't have that. Carry on.
Hey.
The tour was fine, and the puppy was cute, so we gave him a tip.
No, Mom, stay over there. Yeah.
Oh, I'm wearing a life jacket.
That would be really tough.
Just wrapped up our first cenote. We have another one that's still in this park because we paid for the package that gets us in both cenotes. I think you kind of have to pay for both, but it's convenient because they're still so close to each other.
Busy.
Yeah, it's cool though.
This cenote had way more people than the first, but it was still every bit as cool. And after officially maxing out our cold tolerance, plus the fact that our stomachs were starting to file complaints, it was time to head back to Valladolid for some lunch. So we walked through town a bit before finding Casa Oaxaca. As the name suggests, it's mostly Oaxacan dishes made by chefs from Oaxaca, but the owner is from here in Valladolid.
Jill and Hannah had to drive back, so they're drinking waters. We, on the other hand, had some pints. But just as we started to enjoy our beers, the rain started. This place was a total surprise. The owner of this fine establishment welcomed us in, offered us a few appetizers on the house, and even gave us her personal favorites, which included one dish I was not prepared for.
This is insane. She said to eat this with like a pizza and not like with a fork and knife, but this is huge.
Ooh, look at that cheese ball.
Yes.
It's good. Tastes a little like a quesadilla.
Oh, look at all that.
So she came over and she said this is like a traditional Oaxaca dish. And you're supposed to eat it like a pizza. You're not supposed to eat it with a fork and a knife. So I'm trying to eat this like a pizza.
It's very difficult though. It's a lot.
The presentation is very luxurious. Lujoso, if you will. We learned that word in Spanish class. Oh my God, that's really good.
And collectively, we ordered the rib tacos, mole enchiladas, and a tostada to round things out. But the best part is all but 2 items on the menu were gluten-free, including the taluda I just demolished.
What do you think?
Delicious. Anything with cheese is my favorite.
It felt super authentic, family run, low-key, and still cash only.
It rained pretty heavily a little bit ago while we were eating. And now all the streets are flooded. It was kind of crazy to see all the bikes and car tires underwater. But we are not gonna let that stop us from getting churros because we need churros.
Ooh, there we go. One churro con chocolate y one churro con Nutella.
We ate churros last night. You don't need to watch us do that again, but we did say our goodbyes to Jill and Hannah, and then we waited for nightfall. Remember that taco stand from the other day? The one with the line? Yeah, we're heading back. You knew we would.
There's always that Anthony Bourdain saying that comes to my mind, and I'm sure he didn't make it up, but he's the example I always use. And he says, eat where the locals eat, and this place, this taco stand, always has a line around the corner every time we walk past it, so I am definitely getting that tonight because, look at that. And if the locals eating here, you know it's probably good.
It looks messy, like someone just slapped meat on a tortilla and called it a day. But I swear to you, this was the best cochinita we've had in the Yucatan so far. Juicy, tender, full of flavor. Yeah, we ordered 7. No regrets. There's hardly ever any regrets.
Best taco so far in Yucatan. Best cochinita, pibil, dare I say.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
This place, go here. It's worth it.
Well, we didn't technically come back for the tacos. That was an extra bonus, albeit a pretty tasty bonus. But no, we're actually here to stake out a good spot for the Cathedral Light Show. It's supposed to start at 8, I think.
So originally we thought there'd be a light show in the cathedral at 8 o'clock. It's 8:30. We've seen the lights boot up, so maybe 8:30, 9 o'clock at the latest is when the show starts.
Okay, so it actually booted up at 9:30, but then the magic started. We weren't expecting much, but this light show, it's kind of a trip. The music, the colors, the way it lights up on the cathedral walls, generally really cool. The setup's pretty simple, just a big old projector beaming a pre-recorded video right onto the front of a church. But as far as free events go, you really can't beat this. Plenty of towns in the Yucatan do something similar to this, but this one felt especially creative, like a history lesson with trippy visuals. The whole thing runs about 30 minutes, and when it wraps up, they hit play on an English version. Same show, different language. So if you missed something the first time, or you just want a double feature under the stars, stick around.
Guardians, custodians of the 4 directions of the sky.
If you've ever had the privilege of partaking in a certain green substance and then watching like Animal Planet, that's what that felt like. Just
I was
in a trance.
Was not of that substance, and I was 100% in a trance. So I get it. Like, I couldn't imagine being under the influence of that substance and watching that. It was really good though. The production quality was top notch. Yeah, it was really crazy.
That. This might be my best day of eating since we've been in Mexico. I had chilaquiles for breakfast, I had 3 tacos for lunch. I had 4 tacos for dinner. And in between those 7 tacos, I had churros. No complaints.
7 tacos today.
I had 7 tacos today.
What's the most tacos you've ever eaten in a day?
7 for sure.
Today?
I don't, maybe in Mexico City. Because I feel like those were smaller. In Mexico City, the street tacos. The tacos here that we got on the street were like beef. I'd say beefy, not saying they were beef, but they were like hefty. And that is why Mexican is our favorite cuisine. Never eat 7 plates pad thai in a day. Probably could. It is our last morning in Valladolid, and what an amazing little weekend getaway. We are saving the most iconic destination in this area-ish for last, but first we need some coffee, and it's always just a great excuse for me to practice my Spanish. Y leche regular.
Tenemos coco, almendra y avena.
Almendra. Almendra? ¿Cómo se dice oat?
Avena.
Avena? Okay.
¿Pago sería efectivo o tarjeta?
Tarjeta, por favor. Coffee, check. Let's hit the road.
Just arrived at Chichén Itzá. It's like 10 o'clock, but it's Saturday. And
Sunday.
they said, Sunday, sorry, weekend. But they said the main parking lot was full, so we had to park in overflow, which was 70 pesos. I don't know if that's good or bad, but
It's cheaper than Uxmal.
Cheaper, yeah, it was cheaper than Uxmal. So already, as soon as we park, one of the guys called me Wiz Khalifa, so that's a positive.
Is it?
I'll take it. He started singing the lyrics, so I was like, all right, cool. But I don't know how far the walk is from the parking lot. It seems like it's not too bad of a walk. There's a bunch of souvenir shops along the way and there's shade.
A lot of vendors.
A lot of vendors.
A lot of vendors.
The tour guides are a lot more aggressive
Than
over
Uxmal.
here than
Yep.
Uxmal too.
All right, let's talk tickets. It costs 648 pesos to get into Chichén Itzá. That's 548 for general entry and another 100 pesos for the culture tax, which, yes, is a real thing and isn't a scam. Plus, filming costs an extra 60 pesos, so basically your camera needs a ticket too. As for guides, they run about 900 to 1,000 pesos for an English tour. We decided to skip that, but we later found out there's a self-guided audio tour on Viator for 10 bucks. That would have been nice to know before we got there, but if you want to save money and still learn a lot about the ruins, we'll drop that link in the description. First impression, there are definitely more people here than Uxmal, which obviously makes sense. This is a world wonder after all. But honestly, for a weekend, it's not nearly as packed as we were bracing for.
Welcome to Chichén Itzá. It's a good shot actually. It's not, you don't see as many people in this shot as there are actually here. It's a little madhouse getting just to this point. You go through all the souvenir shops and the people that are trying to get you to buy things, the tour guides, and then you finally get to this glorious part of Chichén Itzá. We are not going to pretend to be like some know-it-all type people. We know about as much as the average person. So we're going to see what we find, and if there's a plaque that's pretty cool, we'll share that, but we won't be too in-depth.
Not a fan of that.
It's like a jaguar, maybe?
Monkey, cat. All right, so a couple of tips. First of all, if you want great pictures with the pyramid, walk around to the back because there's like hardly any people here. But secondly, if you want to just wander on your own and don't want a tour, there's gonna be a lot of booths and stands that look like it's where you buy tickets, but it's actually just for tours. Skip right past all of the tour booths and go straight to the entrance.
It's funny because you can hear all the vendors making like jaguar sounds. And it's just like everywhere you go, you just hear. They did tell me it was only $1 though, so I kind of want one, but not one of those sounds, like one of the ones that sound like the bird. That one's a little too annoying and aggressive to like have around the house. I'm sure it would drive Sarah crazy.
It would drive me crazy, but the bird, can you imagine Otto? Like,
Maybe we should get it for him. He needs a toy. He's been bored.
So we got 2 waters, and the 2 waters were twice as much as our parking was. They were 70 pesos each, and for reference, back in Merida, we get a 5-liter bottle of water for 45 pesos. So maybe hydrate before you get here. I don't know if you can bring your own water in, but just expect to pay tourist prices.
Next up on our makeshift Chichén Itzá tour, the platform of eagles and jaguars.
can you guess based on the carvings?
Sacrificial.
Kind of. It was no. It was used to display the skulls and the remains of like prisoners and enemies.
Whoa.
There's a illustration of the stakes they would put the skulls on over there. And these show in different stages of decomposition. These are my mascots in school. Puma for my middle school. No, that's wrong. I had panthers for middle school, and then in high school I was a lion. Which I guess a lion's not really a jungle cat, but...
We finally made our way to arguably the best part of Chichén Itzá. Okay, maybe the second best part if you're counting El Castillo over there. But this is the Great Ball Court, the largest ritual ball court in all of Mesoamerica. And I've got a question, maybe you can help us out.
How in the world were they supposed to get a ball all the way up there? That was really high up.
We spoke about puck to puck in our last video, so if you want more details about it, check that one out. But basically think of it like basketball, only using your hips, and with ritual sacrifices at the end.
Well, this was definitely worth the detour, but the sun's dropping fast and we've got a decent drive back to Merida. Before we hit the road, here are our final thoughts on Chichén Itzá.
It was hot today.
It was hot. I think Chichén Itzá is one of those places that there's going to be crowds no matter when you go, but it's not a place that like, if there's crowds, it really affects the experience because you can spread out so far. There's going to be a lot of people right in front of that first pyramid, but once you get to the other structures, like there was so much space. And we're here Sunday midday.
Let's hit the road and turn this car on.
Let's go see the cat.
Valladolid, this is goodbye for now. We honestly didn't know what to expect, but this place exceeded our expectations. If you've ever been curious about Valladolid, go. See it for yourself. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us on our socials. Also make sure to subscribe so that you never miss a detour because next up, we're heading to Bacalar. And let's just say, we've got a big surprise waiting there.